Hey guys, and welcome to a Fox Den review of Haters Back Off. Now, this is a new show featuring Miranda Sings, aka Colleen Ballinger, from YouTube. She got really popular making Miranda Sings videos where it was just characters she created that is just kind of awkward, quirky, and likes to sing a lot and do dancing and stuff. It's pretty funny. I have a lot of friends that are. I feel like her fans are mostly women. I think she is a funny person, but I found her videos to be like I'm not like a huge fan, I should say. Like I'm not subscribed to Miranda Sings. I've seen like maybe 3 or 4 of her videos. I think she's funny, but not like it's kind of gimmicky to me personally. So I was a little worried. I just saw that it was new on Netflix, and I was like, okay. I saw the trailer. It looked kind of funny, kind of like Napoleon Dynamite ish, and so I was like, I'll give it a shot. And I gotta say, I'm not disappointed. It was an interesting show, and I'll just say right off the bat, it's worth a watch. I just marathoned 4 hours of it, so it must have been all right. And I liked a lot of aspects of the show. It definitely has like a very specific charm to it, and it doesn't copy anything necessarily. Like I wasn't watching it and being like, "This is what Napoleon Dynamite did." I never had any moment like that where it was most of the time wondering like, "What is this like? Like why? What is this charm? It's something new. It's something I haven't seen before, and I like it." Um, for the most part, it's a true comedy. I loved the characters, her and her uncle. The jokes were like way I don't want to say raunchier, but way more suggestive than I had previously, thought that they might be. So that was a little bit of a surprise, but a welcome surprise, I guess. I thought it was going to be more, more of the kid demographic, more like the early teenagers, maybe people, not wanting to offend a certain crowd. But there was nothing over the top. It was just funny, like a lot of suggestive things, like with her and her uncle, and it was great. A lot of the jokes were fantastic. And then there's a couple things that didn't particularly like about the show. I will say that it starts out like very much a comedy. Miranda Sings, is trying to become famous, and she goes through this whole thing. Her sister is kind of like the straight man character as far as like she's not funny. She doesn't really do anything to be funny. She's the one that's trying to like stop all these hijinks that Miranda's trying to do and her uncle. But one of the things I didn't like about the show necessarily was that it didn't seem like much happened with her sister. She was just kind of there. You get to know her, but like none of the plots that involve her seem to really go anywhere. So that was kind of disappointing because she is a very big part of the show, and I think that was important. I think a show just centered on Miranda, that character would have gotten stale, but you kind of get these, opposing viewpoints of life and these opposing characters. Whereas, Miranda Sings is clearly, this extremely prideful, arrogant, self-centered, narcissistic person. And then you have her sister, who is this person that cares about people, but and Miranda is also like not worried about what people think of her at all. She thinks everyone loves her. Her sister's very much the opposite, like very self-conscious, worried about, school and who knows that they're related and blah blah blah. So yeah, it was a nice balance there for the most part. Her because I feel like the show has a lot of goofy characters. Patrick is a goofy character. Her mom even, and it didn't seem like they quite knew what to do with the mom, but she was a little goofy. The pastor and all the church people are kind of goofy. So it was good. It was a fun comedy. And so yeah, I'll end the spoiler free part of the review at that point, and I really suggest you go watch it. I did laugh out loud several times. It is a very specific kind of comedy, I'll tell you that much. So like if you don't like, I wouldn't say that you need to like Miranda Sings. Like I'm not a huge Miranda Sings fan from YouTube or anything, but I still enjoyed it, and I don't think it's like female comedy. I thought a lot of the jokes were really funny. I think she's a very funny woman. And so I highly suggest going watching it if you like that kind of quirky. I don't even know what to compare it to. I want to say things like that are quirky, like Portlandia or Napoleon Dynamite. Those things where like you're not sure like who the demo is for this. It's just like weird humor. So you'll just have to give it a shot. If you don't like it in the first episode or two, you're not gonna like the rest of the show. But yeah, so go ahead and check it out. If you'd like to hear more of the spoiler free review, you can just keep watching because it's about to happen. So getting into the show, The beginning of the show, pretty funny. You know, she uploads her video, expecting to get all these likes. It's this like goofy, like borderline Disney show, in my opinion. And that's where, like, at first I was a little off put by the show. Was I was like, hopefully it's not dumb and cheesy. And then it got like some weird, suggestive jokes about her and the uncle, the whole bun and cream thing. I was like, oh my gosh, this joke. Uh, anyways, it was great. So yeah, the whole goldfish thing, it was weird, but in like a, like I said, in a charming way. Like, it was funny and it had that like very original kind of touch to it. Uh, the so yeah, going from there to the last episode, I couldn't believe in 8 episodes the I guess the theme change of the show, because we go from, this goofy her trying to become famous to all of a sudden, like, this is a big spoiler, guys. So her mom gets PKD. We find out she has PKD, and I think the 6th or 7th episode. And it gets really dark, guys. Like, not dark in like, it reminded me of in Breaking Bad when he finds out, because she finds out she has PKD, and it kind of like throws him off really bad, and he starts like evaluating himself, and he stops censoring himself as much. So that's what she does as well, and it was like, not, it wasn't funny, and the show after about episode 5 really, I don't think it was a mistake per se to have it go that direction. I think they brought up some important things. I I just don't think it was for this show, and like, I it's not what you want to end on, I think, is the biggest thing. Because I just finished the show, and in a 4 hour period, I went from like, oh, this is like a happy, funny show, to we're all gonna die someday. Is essentially all your family and friends are gonna die at some point, and you'll probably be around for some of them. And it's like, that's not the note you want to end on per se. um, and that's really like what it came down to. Like, I think it's important. I think that it is a theme that like really hits. Like, they did it fairly well, but I think that for a comedy, wasn't really the place for it, especially how they had set the show up originally. It wasn't this show where it's like, oh, it's like a drama but with comedy. It was 100% a comedy with the occasional like moral of the story, that we learn from the character's mistakes. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, this is pretty heavy stuff. And that was my biggest issue, I think, with the show, is that it gets pretty dark by the end. And everything crumbles around her. And I think that everything crumbling, I think, was perfect. Like, it had to happen. But I don't think like bringing in death and everything, and like just making the whole last episode essentially like very, very sad, was really the way to do it. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you can let me know what you guys thought of it. I loved the comedy. I thought a lot of it was really funny. Her and Patrick, I thought, were hilarious. And I just saw him on IMDb. Oh my gosh, that guy looks so much different on his IMDb picture than he does in the show. Like, he goes from like model to like whatever, this like kind of like nerdy like lanky kid. It was great. Um, Angela Kinsey, I thought was fantastic. Like, her and the pastor were really funny. I thought they had great chemistry together. A lot of humor there. Her sister, Emily, who was played by Francesca Reale, I believe. Anyways, she was great. I thought she was fantastic. She nailed exactly what she was supposed to be in the show. Like I said before, I was a little disappointed. I mean, they introduced her friends. They introduced that she goes to a school. It was kind of weird. The only thing that was like a little weird for me, and obviously like it's a comedy, it's a fictional show, but like she seemed too normal not to have any friends. Like that she only had one or two friends, which is fine. Like, I didn't have like a ton of friends in high school. I had like a couple really close friends, but it just seemed weird that like one friend found out where she lived and that she was related to Miranda or something, and like then her friends wouldn't be friends. It was odd. It was an odd way to have her be isolated, because I think she was just a little bit too likable. But yeah, I thought she was fantastic in her role. And who was the uncle? Steve Little. That guy I don't know where he's from. You know what? I'm gonna see where he's from real quick because this guy's fantastic. He nailed the role. Her Miranda Sings. Let's see, Colleen Bellinger and Steve Little. Their chemistry was like on point. It was fantastic. Their comedy landed almost perfectly every time, and it was just great. I must have recognized his voice from The Grinder. That's where I've seen him before. The Grinder is another great comedy. Got canceled, so I can't really recommend that you invest your time in it because it's not coming back. But I thought he was great. He was like a assistant there. Anyways, Steve Little and Miranda Sings, aka Colleen Bellinger, were fantastic. Really funny, jokes in there with them. Um, it got a little cheesy at points, but it was like it was still a fun comedy. Overall, I think it's worth watching, and I'm interested to see what you guys liked and didn't like about the show. I can't really think of anything else that you know I would change or any like pros or cons necessarily. Other than like I think it got a little too dark, a little too heavy for the comedy that it was. Anyways, I'm excited for season two. It kind of left it at an open door there at the end. Um, her video explodes, and that would be cool to know whether or not like it was that her first like big viral YouTube video. Was it like a singing tutorial? And I think that might have been it. I think that's a fun little like Easter egg to have in the show. But then we hear the little bike bell. So yeah, it was a great time. Go watch it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We can talk about it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.